Well, hello. Happy last Tuesday of May. And I can't believe it. I can't believe we're at the end of our month already, Christoph. Can you believe that?
Time's flying when you're having fun, right?
It is true. So welcome to the 11X show. Super happy and excited to have you on the show. And we've been doing a series. Today is the last day of the series. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to you so that you can share with this audience all your amazing brilliance.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. Yes, so today I want to give you a couple golden nuggets that you can walk away with. One is the famous 90-15-90. That's something that Brian Tracy teaches. And the other one is Warren Buffett's secret to his success.
Hmm.
And
Can't wait to hear about both of them.
All right, well, let's start with the 90-15-90. That concept alone, if you implement it, can really take your productivity through the roof. And what that means really is for 90 minutes, you work on a very important project that you have to get done. You clear your desk, and there's nothing else on it except that particular project. And your phone is off, your email is off, everything is off.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So anything that could derail your train of thought, that could interrupt you, or just, whatever could stop you from focusing on that one task has to be removed, And then you work diligently on that one task for 90 minutes, and then you take a 15-minute break, and then you do it again.
So what you're saying is, and you said to do the things that you really don't want to do first. Is that, do I remember you saying that?
Yes, at one point I talked about it in one of our previous sessions, the eat that frog, that's the idea, as we always procrastinate on the most challenging things, we do the ones that are easier. So yes, so not getting back to the whole prioritizing process. Yeah, that's the idea. So take a daunting big task that you got to get done.
Okay.
And set aside 90 minutes uninterrupted time to work on it. And then take a 50-minute break and do it again. If you just do this once a week, you're going to get so much done.
Oh, so this is not something you have to do every day, just once a week?
Well, you can do it every day, of course, but if you have never heard of this concept and you scares the heck out of you to try, then maybe just try it once a week and see what it does. And if it's 90 minutes is too daunting and overwhelming for a person to do that, then maybe start with 60, 10, 60, for instance,
Oh, okay. So basically what you're saying is it's kind of like what we've learned so far, like the focus and diffuse model. It's kind of like you focus really hard for a certain amount of time, and then you kind of like take a break before you can and digest that. So during the time of focus, if it helps to have like music in the background or something, how do you feel about that? Or when you say all distractions, do you mean even turn off music, or what's your take on that?
Each person is different.
Okay.
I know, for instance, if I need a task done that takes my full concentration and focus, even music would derail me. But not everybody is the same way, because maybe all of a sudden a great tune comes up and I'm like, oh yeah, lose attention. But not everybody is like that. Some people work better with like that. Like, for instance, I have one of my sons, basically, he could do, when he did his homework, he had the music going and then had the TV on and he was doing his homework. I was like, how on earth can he do that? But he did it and he got good grades. So it worked for him.
Okay, because so I've heard too, like if you kind of have classical music going on in the background, that can actually help you stay calm and more focused. So that's why I was just curious about your take on that.
Yes, and each person is different, and so if you're a person that works well with that, by all means do it. Whatever works for you is what you want to do. This is just a concept. The key is, for instance, not to answer phones or not to check emails, those kinds of things. even because if you have an email pop up on your screen and you're working on the computer,
Right.
your eye goes to that pop up even
Yeah.
for just a split second, and that's
Yeah.
enough to derail you. You know, and then yes, take a little break in between, stretch break, a coffee or whatever, you know, and then go back to it. And yes, if you have never done it, try it for a week and see what it does for you. You know, that concept alone can really help. And if you have a huge project, like we've talked about in the previous segment, you know, how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. So then maybe you tackle away. So maybe the 90 minutes were not enough for you to, or the 90-minute segments were not enough for you to finish the project. Then you have to block some more time, you know, the next day or the day after to get it done.
Now, and I like this because I do know I've done these before where I'll set a timer and like just completely focus on it. And sometimes I'll, like, for example, I hate cleaning the dishes, but I will sometimes just, I did a thing the other day where I was like, I'm going to just turn on my alarm clock for 10 minutes, not to do distract, and just see how much I can. And I cleaned my kitchen. So much more got done than I even thought I could get done during that time. So I really think that when you are just completely focused, you can even just get so much more done in a faster amount of time because, like you said, you're not distracted by anything else. So is this something you should do? Like, let's say I wanted to try it. Okay. And let's say I wanted to do it 3 days a week. It's not like 90 minutes and then you take your break and then do it again for another 90 minutes and take a break. It's not like you're supposed to live your day like that, right? Or are you only supposed to just do it one time a day? That's what I'm a little unclear about.
It all depends, you know. So I think now Tony Robbins is, you know, probably the most organized person I know, and he has his days down planned pat by, you know, in almost 15 to 30-minute increments all day long. Not everybody is like that. So yes, if you wanted to do that once in the morning and once in the afternoon, sure. You know, it really depends. But if you start from having never done this before to trying to implement it, then I would recommend baby steps. So no, maybe try once a week and see what it does for you. If you feel like, oh gosh, I get so much done, then maybe do it twice a week or 3 times a week, you know, and see and build up to it. And if 90 minutes again is too long, then cut it back and do less. The key is the uninterrupted time, the focus on a one project for an uninterrupted amount of time.
I'm excited to try that because I think that for me, I'm a little bit ADD myself. And so I think for me, 90 minutes seems like a long time, but I think that the idea of 60 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes of just complete, just focus time. I'm going to start with that, and then move my way up. But I'm really looking forward to trying that. I will report back to you and let you know. Now, you said you have another thing too, right?
Yes. So when Warren Buffett was asked about his secret to his success, he had an answer to that. Mm-hmm. Guess what he said?
Something about focusing.
No.
No.
That word he said, I say no to everything that is not conducive to my well-being or the well-being of my family, or the well-being of myself or my business. So basically saying no is the secret to his success. And that might sound strange, but one of the things I've noticed is that, and especially women, they have the tendency to always say yes because they want to help everybody. Mm-hmm. They can't really say no. Yes. And what happens is by saying yes to everything, we create overwhelm. Mm-hmm. And who is winning here? You know, maybe the person who wanted something from you, but not you, not the person. I don't win by saying yes to everything. So we need to learn to say no. And there's more than one way to do that. You know, for instance, when somebody asks, can you help me with that? I'd love to help me. Tell me more. And then once they have a clear understanding, this is what they need, and they need it by a certain time, then I need to look at my schedule and can I really accommodate that person's desire to get this done by that particular time frame? And once I do that, I may realize, yeah, I really would love to help that person, but the timing doesn't work for me.
I love what you said about tell me more, because sometimes, you know, when you're in such a rush and somebody says, can you do something? And you're like, you know, I think it's really important to acknowledge the other person and understand why they need it. And because then they at least feel heard. And so it's like, oh no, I really can't do it. However, and then maybe you can give them another suggestion on how it, see, this is, I turned this off and it's still not turning off. So I don't understand what's going on with my phone. I'm sorry about that. This is what I actually turned it off. It's on vibrate and yet it's still not, I don't know. Sorry about that. But, yeah, no, you're right. Because it is easy to say yes, because you want to help everybody. And you also don't realize sometimes how long something is going to take.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
And so, so one way to do that is asking for time. That's one of the things I always work with a lot of my clients about. Ask them some time. Let me get back to you. I have to check my schedule and workload, and I'll get back to you
Oh, okay.
within 12 hours, within 2 hours, or whatever it is. So that gives you a chance to really look it over and say, okay, this particular work that this person wants takes me this long to do, and yada, yada, yada. This is what I already have scheduled. Can I realistically fit this in or not? And then I can go back with a proposal and say, I'd love to help you, but I need more time. I can get it to you by such and such a date instead of what you wanted. Would this still work for you?
I love that. Yeah.
And this way, we don't want to cause more overwhelm for ourselves just to accommodate somebody else's needs. And the person may not even really need it that fast.
That's
it's
true.
just, because ultimately sometimes we live in an instant gratification society. So we want it now. And so this is just asking for time and taking a break to realistically evaluate the situation can be a game changer for people.
So you're not saying no, you're just saying no, not now. Like you're not saying I won't help you, but you're saying, no, I can't do this on your timeline. Am I understanding correct?
Yes, exactly. So again, to make sure that you're in the driver's seat and
Yes.
not others, not your clients or whoever is coming to you for help or for a need is in the driver's seat. That's the key, because ultimately, if we say yes to something that we can't deliver on time, then we cause stress in our own lives. It doesn't affect the person who we said yes to. They're happy that we are stressing out about getting this done in time. But what it does to us and our schedule and our health is what's concerning. And that's what I'm all about. I'm about the health and well-being of my clients. That's the most important thing there is.
Very good.
Which kind of leads me to the last segment that I wanted to share, which is self-care. I mentioned that a little bit in the prioritizing when we talked about, what's an A task, what is critically important.
Right. I remember.
Right? And for most of us in our society, self-care is an afterthought. When I have time, I had a client text me and say, what do you mean about, I have to really hard time putting me time on my schedule. What should I do? Should that go on first? Or I said, yes, exactly. That should be going on first and everything else should be scheduled around it. And to illustrate the point, I always love to share a brief story. Most people may have heard of Carl Jung, may not have heard of me. Carl Jung and I have one thing in common, we're both Swiss. Carl Jung had a house on the Lake of Zurich. I grew up in the outskirts of Zurich. Okay. So Carl Jung was contacted by a very influential person and said she asked to meet with him on a Wednesday afternoon at 2:00. And he said, I'm sorry, I already have an appointment. I'm not available at that time. So lo and behold, she happens to be on the lake that afternoon during that time frame and driving a boat by his house. And he was sitting in the backyard, dangling his feet in the water. So she got home and called him irate and said, you lied to me. You didn't have an appointment. I saw you. You were sitting in your backyard, dangling your feet in the water. And he calmly replied, no, I did not lie to you. And you probably know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah.
He said,
his appointment was with himself for his own.
Exactly.
Time. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. The most important appointment of the week, an appointment with myself. And I tried to push this a little bit further and say, have one of those appointments with yourself on a daily basis, not just once a week. So,
and for your me time, what do you, Christoph, like how much me time do you give yourself, and what do you recommend your clients have? An hour a day or 2 half-hour time slots, or is there a recommendation?
each person is different. For me, in the morning, I get a half-hour meditation and a half-hour of my bike to get their sweat going and get me going, and that's my time in the morning, and nobody has any right to interfere with that. Then the end of the day, I'd love to just read some mindless stuff. I'd love to, like thrillers or something that just takes my mind off of everything and just lets me unwind. And I'll do that usually about an hour before I go to bed. And that's my thing, but each person is different, and then, so those are kind of daily things. And then maybe there are some things that you do on a monthly basis, for instance, like for me, a trip to the beach. Has to happen once a month. That's where I recharge my batteries, So each person is different, but to have something for yourself that recharges your batteries on a daily basis, I think is important.
I love it. So do you, because I love that you said that, like that you go to the beach once a month. Do you have that in your schedule once a month right now you just know, okay, we're going into June, and you look at your calendar and you say, which day in June am I going to go to the beach? And then you put that, is that how you do it?
That's what I have to do. You just told me, that's kind of like where my wife jumps in and says, okay, practice what you preach.
Yes.
So yes, for that particular part, I still have to actually, pick dates and choose a time to do that. Yes.
Yes. Wow. I can't believe we're on the last part of this segment of this show. Is there any other last minute tidbits or advice that you can give us? I know most of the people on the show are entrepreneurs, and a lot of them are on that hamster wheel, and they do waste time. And again, how do they get a hold of you for a consult?
Well, the easiest way is just to go to my website, balance6.biz. The other thing you can do, you can go to Amazon and buy this book, From No Time to Free Time. So pretty much everything I shared during this Fab Tuesdays of May is in there. It's a no-brainer. The ebook is like $5.99 or something. If you want an actual book, it's expensive. It's $19.95. So, that might break the bank. And if you want to just have a conversation with me, if you just want to have a conversation with me, you can go to my website, and there's a link that you can click and schedule your appointment with me. No fee, no charge. You want to walk away with some golden nuggets, I promise you. Again, that website is balance6.biz.
Wonderful. Christoph, this has been a fantastic month. You've given away a lot of tidbits and golden nuggets, and I really appreciate you and your time. And I know, again, how much you really care about your clients, and you put a lot into them. And I'm sure that they appreciate it as much as you appreciate your clients. So thank you so much for being on the show. And
thanks for having me, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right.
Christoph, guys.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye.
Bye.